Hey everybody, what is going on? Hexlex here. I got another Master Duel video for you. So what I'm doing right now is I'm actually doing a little day zero deck building for the new Rescue Ace list once we get Preventer and Emergency. Of course, at the time this video comes out, I think it'll be the day of the new pack release, so this will be day one, but I was about to do some of my usual kind of like research and deck building, like pre-deck building that I do before a deck I'm interested in playing is about to come out. But I thought, I don't know if I've ever, or if I have, it's been quite a while, like shown the kind of like process I go through. So I figured it'd be neat to just kind of walk you through what I do when I see like a new list. I mean, to be fair, Rescue Ace isn't entirely new, but the fact that we're getting 2 new cards alongside the Snake Eye stuff, which is already in Master Duel, means that we are going to definitely be rebuilding the deck for sure, so to speak. So let's see here. Like I said, I was about to just start throwing the list together and doing my research, but I'm currently in Edo Pro, which is a great program for deck building testing. I use it all the time because not only do you get to throw together a list of stuff that isn't in Master Duel yet, it's also a free program. You can also do test hands, which is extremely valuable, and we'll be doing some of those after we put our build together here, right? So one other thing that I'm doing for sure here, and I've talked about this, I know for sure, is I like to pop over to not only Road of the King, but also Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck to basically look at the list for the deck I'm working on both the OCG and TCG side, right? I do tend to value Road of the King, which is OCG stuff, a little bit more highly just because the format of Master Duel is a little bit closer to the OCG, but looking at TCG list is definitely going to be a good idea too. So usually what I do is I'll start by searching for the deck, but I see, Rescue Ace Turbulence right here in the latest metagame report. Let me pop over to that and let's see what we are looking at here. This is Fire King Snake Eyes. Soon enough, I'm sure. Soon enough. And Voiceless Voice as well. Here we go. Rescue Ace. We can use Sinful Spoils, Snake Eye, Fire King, and Snake Eye decks. Also players switching back to Rescue Ace. Yes, because this is the first report, I believe, after the OCG has had its respective hits to the DML Star / Snake Eye package. They have Wanted at 1. They also have Emergency at 1 over there. Now, this is one thing that is going to be pretty interesting about Snake Eye, Rescue Ace, and Master Duel, because Airlifter is also at 2 in the OCG, and I believe Airlifter is at 1 in the TCG. So, Master Duel is going to be the first format where, like, all the Rescue Ace cards and all the Snake Eye cards are all going to be at 3 at the same time, which is kind of interesting to think about, but so it's definitely pretty clear here that, like, Poplar, like, even though they're not on Snake Eye Ash, we're still using Bonfire for Poplar to get the original Sin, and then using that to go into Hydrant and making our board very much more consistent that way. I've also noticed that this build is 42 cards, which I definitely like for, being able to not draw our spells that we're going to search and trap cards that we're going to search up anyway. As much. lol SP Little Knights too. We can ignore extra decks for the most part, because one, the extra deck isn't super important. 2, stuff like Typhon and SP Little Knight are definitely not going to be in Master Duel just yet. But let's go ahead and actually find a more, I was going to say more recent, but actually we need the opposite. We need a Rescue Ace list that's further back. Oh, this is not the first time I've searched up Rescue Ace here. Probably when they first came out. So that was the one we just read. I'm mainly looking for Turbulence to be in the header here, because that means the deck is talked about a little bit more in detail. I also like to find the most recent one. That way it's like the most relevant to the current format, right? So this is earlier this year, 18th of January. Let's scroll down to Rescue Ace. Here we go. So Emergency was still at 1. I'm looking for lists where Emergency was at 3, ideally. I don't know the exact date of when that happened. Probably around this time, because here we see Rescue Ace in the 2nd spot, which is also pretty interesting, right? So, hang on, let's actually take a look at this Rescue Ace list here. Yeah, okay, here we go. 3 Emergency, still 2 Airlifter, but that shouldn't be too different from where Master Duel is at right now. Addition of Earth Golem. Oh, for the Super Poly, Disrupt package, makes sense. So one thing that I think is pretty interesting is that this iteration of Rescue Ace Snake Eye is pretty close to full power. It's just Airlifter at 2 is like really the only difference. And this is still like putting up comparable results to pure Snake Eye as well as Fire King Snake Eye, which isn't, Fire King cards, the new ones aren't in Master Duel yet, but are definitely extremely powerful. And the fact that I'm seeing the Rescue Ace variant here kind of makes me feel like that the Rescue Ace Snake Eye deck that's going to be in Master Duel, or like this variant of it anyway, is probably going to be a very real thing. I don't know if it'll be as good as Pure, but I think it's definitely something to keep on our radar here. So, okay. We got the multiple Poplars, 1 Diabell, only 2 Wanted for 3 Bonfire. It's interesting that we're going more into the Poplar Bonfire, but that also kind of makes sense because, like, you can Wanted for Diabell, but Diabell makes you send a card out of your hand to the graveyard. But if you Bonfire for Poplar, you can special the Poplar. That doesn't take, well, Diabell doesn't take your normal either. But you can special the Poplar, link it, and then search the original sin, link it to Link Karibo, and then you get to go into the original sin, the Spell Trap Zoned Poplar for the Hydrant. So that makes sense, actually. Okay. 2 Preventer seems to pretty much be the norm, much like 2 Turbulence. That makes sense. 2 Impulse. I noticed, okay, this build, I think the last one, too, were only on 2 Hydrant. Let me see if I can find, yeah, let me see. This is just something, again, I really like doing before I start looking at or building a deck myself. Is just looking at some lists and getting an idea. Yeah, 2 Hydrant here, too. That's so wild that your deck gets that much more consistent that you don't even need to max out on Hydrant necessarily, but it also makes sense at the same time. Alright, yeah, we'll look at one more OCG side list, and then I want to see some TCG side ones. Yeah, oh, look at that, 2 Hydrant. They're all pretty consistently on 2 Poplar, 1 Diabell as well. 3 Bonfire, 2 to 3 Wanted, 3 Emergency, of course, pretty much every single time. Yeah, this all makes sense to me. Okay. Alright, let's look at some TCG lists, too. For Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro deck, I like to go by decks, advanced deck search, view all decks. And then I'll definitely filter for tournament meta decks. That way you're not getting just like every user submitted deck ever. Okay, let's look up Rescue Ace. I also like to pay attention to the number of players in any given tournament as well. Ooh, wow, look at this one. Okay. Yeah, this is from... Oh, this is from the Team YCS. I see. I was like, that's a lot of players. But yeah, that was a pretty big event. So, yeah, so as you can see here, Airlifter was at 1 in the TCG right now, which, again, pretty different from how it is in... Or how it's going to be in Master Duel here. Now, of course, TCG lists are not going to have Max C, so they're going to be a lot different. No call buys, no crossover, or anything like that. You'll often see 3 Nibiru, etc., etc. 43 cards, yeah. Pretty much every single one we've seen so far has been, like, above 40 cards, which that definitely makes sense to me. This one's, wow, this one's 45. Ah, the EMP Meownade. That's not out in Master Duel yet. This one's on Bystials, which might be, like, more format dependent for the TCG. Oh my god, I always forget that they have 3 Prosper in the TCG. I don't know why. Why is this card at 3 in the TCG? That card should definitely be limited. Yeah, okay. I think I want to look at, like, maybe one more TCG side list, and I think I'm ready to build... Yeah, let's take a look at... Let's look at this one. Why not? I think I'm ready to build out the deck here. Yeah, because they're all going to have 1 Airlifter. It's interesting. Okay, so... Now that I have a good idea of what the Rescue Ace decks tend to look like at both TCG and OCG side, I can kind of start to compare notes a little bit. One thing I'm definitely noticing, as I pointed out a little bit earlier, is that OCG side definitely seems very comfortable being on 2 Hydrant, whereas I think all these TCG lists have 3, which kind of makes more sense to me. Like, Hydrant's your main card. Like, yeah, we have a lot of ways to search it, but I think opening it is still pretty good. Although, to be fair... Isn't it better to, like, go into Poplar than to actually hard open Hydrant? Because if you start by normaling Hydrant... Well, I guess you could emergency... Huh. I don't know, actually. Special summon a Rescue Ace monster from your deck to hand the field. It doesn't negate it. It doesn't go away during the end phase. So you can, like, just straight up special Turbulence. That's actual insanity. Okay, so opening Hydrant's not even bad, right? Because, like... Worst case scenario, couldn't you normal Hydrant, add emergency, activate emergency, sack Hydrant for Turbulence, and then just like set 4? If you opened Hydrant and then like 4 hand traps, isn't that what you do there? I mean, there might even be more you can do, honestly. I'm trying to think if you like emergencied for Airlifter, you wouldn't really be able to get into their monster search though, would you? Not without like Hydrant on the field, so Okay. Oh, Emergency's a really fucking good card. So is Preventer, by the way. I haven't really talked about Preventer much, but I think that's mostly just because it seems like every single build is on 2, which again, makes sense to me. So, all right, now that I have done that, let's go back over to Edo Pro, and I'm ready to start putting this list together. So, we always play 2 Turbulence, we always play 2 Preventer, 1 Fire Engine sounds good. I don't think we need Fire Attacker. It didn't seem like really many, if any, of the lists we were looking at were on it, so actually... Sorry, I had to get a sip of water there. Nah, I think we're fine. We don't need Monitor. Definitely not. I mean, we can play 3 Airlifter and Master Duel, so I kind of feel like we should. Because opening Airlifter and nothing else, isn't that actual plays now? Can't we, like... We could do the same thing, right? We could normal Airlifter, grab Emergency, and then activate Emergency. And then, yeah, just tribute the Airlifter and summon Turbulence. Wow, oh my god, this card is so good. I can see this card got limited in the OCG. Interesting that Airlifter got limited, but now I also kind of see why Airlifter got limited in the TCG too. Okay. Yeah, that looks good. So we'll play a couple of Impulses, and Hydrant, I'm going to start with 3. So whenever I deck build, this is something I like to do, right? I definitely prefer to have more cards and trim down to, well, I was going to say to 40, but this deck will probably end up being 42. I like to trim down rather than like trying to build up. So what I mean by that is like rather than, so I don't know yet whether I want to play 2 or 3 Hydrant, and I could hedge by only including 2, and then I'm like, oh, maybe if I decide I want another one later, I can include a 3rd. But I find that to not be the best way to do it. I like to put in more copies of the card if I'm unsure of how many I want. And then later, if I really need deck space, I know, well, okay, I could cut one of the Hydrants, right? So starting with 3 and then being able to cut down to your desired amount, or starting with more cards, rather, and being able to cut down to your desired main deck total, I think is preferable than hedging the opposite way, if that makes any sense. So, okay, so that's pretty much all the Rescue Ace monsters I think I want, right? 2 of those, 1 of those, 0, 0, 3, 2, we'll start with 3, yep. Okay, so Emergency, we always play 3 of that. That card is insane. And then Alert, Rescue, HQ, Contain, and Extinguish, I'll play 1 of each of those. Reinforce, I'm not going to play. This card is already pretty optional in Rescue Ace, but yeah, I think it's fine. I think we're fine without it, so... Rescue Ace is a pretty good archetype. If there's like, even the cards that we're choosing not to play are still not bad at all. Like Fire Attacker, Monitor, and Reinforce. So one thing I am noticing is that as we've added the Rescue Ace cards, we're already at 21. And that's quite a bit, especially because we still have more engine to add, and we still need to make room for hand traps as well. One thing I've noted a lot about this meta is that, just in general, in Best of Ones especially, is that it can be really important to have as even a ratio as possible for engine to hand traps, to disruption, right? And again, I think that's actually super important for a Best of One. Because Best of 3, you can have a deck that's got more engine, because even if you don't go first, you can always side deck into more specific disruption, and you'll always go first at least one of the games. So having a lot of engine in your deck is going to be beneficial at least some amount of the time, every time in a Best of 3 match. But in Best of 1, if you go second and open all engine, your opponent puts up a board you still can't break, then you're in trouble. So... yeah, that's interesting. Okay, so we're at 21 already. We'll definitely keep an eye on that. Let me just look up Sinful real quick. We'll throw in 1 Diabell. Again, I'm going to start by maxing out, but I can see myself cutting down on Wanteds here for sure. And then same with, like... hang on, where's Poplar? Oh, because isn't it called, like, Pop... oh, I didn't put in the other P. Well, that would do it. There it is. We'll start with 2. I'm probably going to cut down to 1 of this, though. Well, 1, we'll see. Bonfire. Okay. We're already at 30 cards here. And this is all engine. Alright. Let's pair our Master Duel attacks real quick. So we're going to play 3 Max C. Definitely going to rock some Ash Blossoms. The Called Buys. I'll put in Crossout, but I feel like that's fairly cuttable, honestly. Nib. We're definitely going to put a Nib in here. And we're at 40, but I definitely want to go at 42, right? So next card for Disruption I'm looking to put in is Imperm, and now we're at 42. So let's go ahead and sort here. I'm not dissatisfied with this 42 card list. entirely. I think it's fine. I think it's solid. I think you could definitely get Master, probably a Master 1 with a list that was exactly this. But I will say, I do feel like we could have some more disruption / just general going second cards, right? Like, I mean, I'm willing to lump in Triple Tactics talent in that. Let's fill out the extra deck, though, before we get too far ahead of ourselves here. So, Link Rebo, we always play, for sure. Hita, of course, we always play Hita. In general, but also just insane in this format. We can do the Promethean Princess stuff, right? Actually, I'm sure they did play it, right? There's no way they didn't. Let's pop back over to, like, some of these. Well, I'm looking particularly at the OCG. But these will have, SP Luminites, like, it's fine. And Typhone. Super Poly, that's right. A lot of these OCG lists are on the Super Poly package as well. Kind of wonder how they had room in the main deck. Well, we could look, actually. Let's see here. Well, yeah, they're on less Hydrant, for sure. Super Poly, I actually really like that, because we have the room and the extra. And it's a good, like, it's a good disruption tool that's also still fine going first, because you can just set it. That might actually be exactly what I'm looking for here. Ooh, excuse me. Like, maybe we even... But they're playing Cross out here. Let me look at this list again. Where's... Oh, is it at the top? Was that at the top? Oh, it was at the top. Wow. There's Rhoda as well. What are we not... What am I playing that this person isn't? Let me see. Oh, well, definitely one fire attacker. But we also... That's like the Rhoda, you know? The Hydrants. They're not playing Nib. Which, in best of 3 I get, but I think for best of 1 we need the Nib. So they're not playing the third Hydrant, they're not playing the Nib, and they're playing Super Polys instead. What else am I playing that they're not? Call by Crossout? Oh, that's Master Duel. Hang on. Oh yeah, they're not on Call by or Crossout. Or, no, they are on Call by, but not Crossout. Okay. So that means there's one other one of that I'm on that they're not. Oh, probably the Imperms, right? I'm on the Imperms too. That would make sense. Okay. So maybe instead of Imperms, we play Super Polys, and then maybe we can cut Crossout. I think Crossout is pretty cuttable, honestly. We could cut Crossout and maybe Hydrant and play like some triple attacks. I like the idea of that. Okay, so we're... Well, but I like the Imperms too. That's the thing. We can't just copy card for card either. We do need to consider the format as a whole. Especially initially, there's going to be a lot more pure Snake Eye that OCG players were facing, probably, with this kind of a Rescue Ace deck. We could also cut a Poplar, because we're on 2. Poplar is very cuttable here. Well, no, I don't know. I don't like the idea of Poplar getting banished, like our one of, and then, like... Well, I also don't like the idea of just searching the Poplar and then the rest of our bonfires are dead. I can definitely see why a lot of these lists played 2. Did the TCG list also play 2? Oh, they didn't play it at all. Oh, this one plays 1. Okay. This one also plays 1. I can kind of see it both ways. Okay, I think the Hydrant... Is that really the most cuttable card here? Me, him, and Hong, I feel like this is such a good... But I mean, this is the process. This, for me, is the process of, like, deck building. And this is, like, really where it gets down to the nitty-gritty, right? Is, like, you got to think about what engine... Like, in this situation, right? Again, you could just sign off on this list as it is, 42 cards right here, and call it fine. But I really do think that we should have a little bit more disruption. I'm fine giving up Crossout. I'm definitively going to say that. I'm fine giving up the Crossout designator. Between Poplar and Hydrant, because here's the thing, right? Normal Summon Poplar, how good is that in this deck? Normal Summon Poplar, well, it still leads to Turbulence, right? Because we can Normal Summon Poplar, Original Sin for... Or Normal Summon Poplar, Link off Poplar, or Normal Summon Poplar, add Original Sin, Link off Poplar for Link Karibo, and then put it in the Spell Trap Zone. Original Sin, the Poplar in the Spell Trap for Hydrant. Hydrant, add Turbulence, or not Turbulence, the other one, Emergency. Emergency, send the Hydrant for the Turbulence, set 4. And again, this is like worst case scenario, assuming we have like nothing else to combo off with. So, Yeah, opening normal summon Poplar is actually still not bad, is it? Maybe it is wanted. Maybe we do just go down to 2 wanted. That sounds really weird, but I think it's right, because I feel like going into Diabel is slightly worse than Bonfire for Poplar. Doesn't it? Isn't it one less card, right? Because you would wanted for Diabel, send a card, and then Diabel set original send. Yeah, it'd be one less card. I'm going to take out a wanted here and go down to 2 wanted, and then we can play... I kind of like the idea of Super Polys, honestly. I actually really like the idea of Super Polys. So if we're going to play Super Polys, let's play targets for sure. We can play Mud Dragon, we can play Garura, yep. And, oh, the G-Golem, or not G-Golem, the Attic-Mister. Hang on, the fusion one, right? What are the materials? A Cyberse and a Link monster. Is that useful against Snake Eye? The Cyberse is, IP Masquerena. The other Link is like Ambler Whale sometimes? Sometimes? I'll add it if I feel like we have enough room. But we could definitely just start with these 2 for now. Let's look at some of these other extra decks again here. I mean, it's just going to be basic stuff, right? Like, just like generic stuff, yeah. I mean, if I was in Master Duel, this is where I'd go to my... I have like my tab of generic like stuff in general. But like, yeah, Nightmare cards for sure. Unicorn... We have the Alt-Art, and then Phoenix, and then we definitely do Access Code. There's no reason not to, in my opinion. Promethean Princess, yep. Promethean Princess, there it is. Do they play Amble Wheel? Is this something you do? Oh, Goddess, hell yeah. At IP, we can Goddess IP. Dark, yeah, we have Diablo, we can play Dark as well. Goddess IP Dark, and Appaloosa, yep. Looks like Sunlight Wolf is a pretty consistent thing, which makes sense too. Celine. Oh yeah, well, we only have the 1 Diabel. If I was playing Valor, I would be a bit more inclined to play Celine. Actually, this person's not playing Valor, and they're on Celine. They're also on 3 Diabel. Oh, Anima? We can definitely play Anima. This person's on Ambler Whale. Let me see something here. Someone I was just looking at. Okay. You see this one again. Here it is. Yeah, it looks like Ambler Whale, not as played in the OCG. Or at all. We can definitely play Anima, Dark, Underworld IP. Is that what I said? Yeah, I'm fine with all that. Anima. There's that. And then IP. And Goddess. Okay. And then, you know what? I'll throw an Ambler Whale for now, because it's like, I can just take it out if I need to. Oh, Dark, that was the other one. Dark, the Dark Charmer, Gloomy, for sure. So we have 2 more slots in the extra. I could probably squeeze in the Attic-Mister. It's like, I mean, I might as well play Celine, I guess. Even if I only have the 1 Diabel, I have the room. It's not like I don't have the room. Oh, and then the Heat Soul. That's right. Heat Soul. Okay, so Heat Soul. No, not Heat Soul. Sunlight Wolf. That's what it's called. And the Attic-Mister. Sort save. Okay, so let me look over this one more time. We have the Nib, 2, you have 2, 1, 1, 1, 1. Only on the 2 wanted. Yeah, I think the wanted is probably the best cut. I did see one of the lists we were looking at, I think on the OCG side, was only on 2 wanted. I think that makes the most amount of sense, honestly. I think I even like the 2nd Poplar over the 3rd wanted here. Let's run some test hands. Wow, I would be extremely satisfied opening a hand like this, going 1st or 2nd, honestly. We have Maxi for Disruption, Super Poly for board breaking. Got plays here. Going 1st with a hand like this, we don't have to commit our normal summon. It's actually kind of awkward that we opened Bonfire and Poplar and Diabel, right? Because this is the kind of deck where... Oh, it didn't offer for me to... Oh, it's got to have a chain set to off. Okay, let's fix that. All right. Oh, okay, this hand is interesting because we have Airlifter, Wanted, and... See, okay, Wanted, and... This is actually another good reason to play 2 Poplar in this build, I'm realizing as I'm doing test hands, because the Diabell actually gets a lot better if you do open the Poplar. Because then you can send that and keep the Diabell as a material. See, this is the reason why I like using Edo Pro for test hands, honestly, is like being able to figure out stuff like that. So we could like, obviously I do that during draw phase during an actual game, but yeah, we can like Wanted for Diabell, we can special the Diabell, send the Poplar, and then we can activate both effects. We'll go like Chain Link 1, and yes, Chain Link 2. I'm just doing testing, so I won't bother imperming. Could play through an imperm here though, funnily enough. Oh, did I put Original Sin in the deck? Am I a dummy? I am a dummy. I did not put Original Sin. I always do this when I deck build. Because I noticed that during that other test hand. Oh, so now I have to find another engine spot. Ugh, okay. Because that has to go in. Ah, I thought we were done. Because I would like it to be 42. Like, you could do 43. It'd probably be fine, but I do want to keep it as consistent as possible. Maybe we do just go down to 2 Hydrant then. Because I think I still do like the idea of multiple Poplars. Like, I understand the mindset, I think, on the OCG side for that. Oh, well, this hand is just like all gas. Another hand that's all gas. See, this is the kind of hands I don't necessarily want to see, though, those last 2. I'd rather see hands like this that have, you know, some disruption and some amount of engine as well that we can feasibly... I guess Impulse is also kind of disruption, too, because you can do it on your opponent's turn and then summon out, like, Turbulence or... Oh, wait, you could summon Preventer from your deck. Oh, snap. I didn't even think about that, because this is a machine, right? So... Okay, so Impulse is also kind of disruption, too. You would have to... Wait, does this banish itself? No, it tributes! So you even have something that turns... Oh my god, this deck is insane. It's all coming together. Oh, yeah, okay, so if I know that, I feel much better with the ratios here. Okay, yeah, we're coming up on like half an hour, so I think I'm going to end off the video here. And I'll probably... I might do some more thinking off screen, or if I get like some, you know, good feedback from you all, I'll definitely take that into consideration before we do our deck profile for Rescue Ace, like in Master Duel. But this is my kind of day 0 build here that I'm thinking about. And again, I wanted to show you all the kind of process I go through when I'm putting together a list for something in Master Duel. Master Duel is especially unique because we have OCG and TCG frameworks to work off of, but they're not directly one-to-one applicable. So you kind of have to just adjust and fine-tune, especially again for the best of 1 format in the meta and all that fun stuff. So I think that's ultimately going to end up doing it here. Is the Original Sin in here? Hang on. I think it's not. No, it is. It's right here. I just didn't sort. Beep. There we go. Yeah, okay, so that's going to end up doing it for this video. Thank you, everybody, so much for watching. Let's move now to our outro. Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of the video. That means a lot to me. It's also a great way to support the channel, so thank you very much in that way as well. If you're interested in supporting the channel in other ways, like the very special patrons that I am thanking here, you can do so by checking out some of the links in the description. One of those goes to the Patreon, where you can join these fine folk and support the channel that way. I do post daily content over on Patreon, so you do get something for supporting there. And if you're interested, I also have a coaching tier option as well. Details again will be on Patreon in the link below. Also in the description linked below is my Twitch page where I stream a few times a week. You can go ahead and check that out, follow or subscribe over there if you ever want to catch me live. You'll also find my second YouTube channel if you feel like subscribing over there to watch some of the Twitch VODs as well as some additional non-Yu-Gi-Oh related content that I make over there. Again, any of those links you want to check out is all a great way of supporting. But again, even if you don't do that, just watching was also a fantastic way to support. And once again, I have to thank you so very much. But in any case, this is Hexlex. I'm going to be signing out, and I'm hoping you have a fantastic day.